Welcome to the Kansas Division of Emergency Management, Kansas Planner Training for Essential Support Function 3, Public Works and Engineering. We'll do a presentation over the overview of ESF 3 and the Kansas Planning Standards. The 2014 Kansas Planning Standards, here is a link for you to click on to print the standard off for yourself so you could see what is required for each ESF that you will be touching on in your plan. Completing the ESF 3 in the Kansas Planner System. After you sign on, you go to the middle drop-down tab and type in your county name, and then when it brings up your county name, choose the Emergency Operations Plan. And after you've chose that, it'll bring up the same screen and you will click on Annexes. Within the Annex tab, this is where we add information to your plan. You will click on Annex Details, which will bring you to this screen. And in this screen, there is two things that you can do. And first, we're going to assign our support agencies. And you will choose whether an agency is the coordinating agency, primary, or support. And in the boxes underneath coordinating, primary, and support, you will click what that agency is going to be, and there should be a black check mark in there. And when you're done choosing your agencies, click Save. And after you click Save, then click on Customize Annex. In the left side of the screen, there is a drop-down box, and you need to choose Concept of Operations. This is the only one that we go in and physically add and delete information from, is just in the Concept of Operations. Here you'll see that they've already put in the tab names of protection actions, debris management, structure and environmental assessments, and continuity of operations, repair, and restoration. And under each of these headings, we are going to put the following information. Under protective actions, you need to identify and describe the protection efforts for areas inside of a 100-year floodplain to include all 3 points: the critical infrastructure, the placement and size of fuel procurements, location and specification of sandbagging operations. You need to touch on all 3 of those. If you actually have a county that does not have a 100-year floodplain, I would just list here a couple sentences that you do not have a 100-year floodplain within your county. Under the debris management section, if you have a FEMA approved debris management plan, then I would just list that and say that it is located within the file archives of ESF 3. If you do not, then we need to touch on all of these points that need to be addressed. First is to summarize the actions taken to coordinate the debris collection and removal process to include, and list your actions for A, B, and C. Then you will identify agencies responsible and the priorities in removing debris from the roadways to ensure access for local responders. And you need to touch on your debris removal, snow, ice, and ice from streams if you are in a county that has issues from freezing rivers. Then, thirdly, you'll identify an agency responsible in removing hazardous material debris, hazardous materials waste, in coordination with ESF 10. Just list what agencies will be responsible and how ESF 3 and ESF 10 will work together. Then 4 is summarize actions taken to condemn, demolish, and dispose of structures that present a safety hazard to the public. This is easier in cities because most cities have building codes and enforcers. There are some counties that do not. So I would suggest if you do not have code enforcement within your county, that you get with your county attorney to answer number 4. Then identify the agencies likely to be used to provide technical assistance on the debris removal process. We've listed the 3 major state agencies that will assist you and also suggest mutual aid. Just identify how you're going to utilize each agency in your debris removal process. And under structure and environmental assessments, what is the local capability to inspect the safety of structures? You have to list public and private. Where would structural assessment support come from? Do you have structural engineers on staff? If not, do you have MOUs to work with a structural engineer? Is any way that you can assess who is going to make those calls within your county needs to be listed here. And then what is the local capability to assess the safety of the environment? And that would be, and where would environmental assessment support come from? That'd be more of your, probably most counties will work with KDHE. Some do have their own environmental departments. So I would list how they're going to support that point number 2. And continuity of operations, repair and restore. Identify the process of repair and restoration of infrastructures to include A and B, the road and bridges and culverts, and the water and the wastewater systems. Just list the agencies who's responsible for it, who they will partner with to repair it, and then touch on 2, identify any existing agreements to provide public works or engineering support. And then after you're done inputting all that information, then click Save. And then go at the top, there will be a button to go back to the annexes. And under 3, choose Annex Actions. Next. And within Annex Actions, you choose Edit to assign the action to the department who will be responsible for carrying out that action. And you just click on Edit. And inside Edit, the first tab is Actions, Roles, and that is just your action typed out. And then you would go to Departments and Positions. Sometimes all is checked, and I would go, and if all the agencies listed are not going to do that particular action, unclick all, and then click on the agencies that are responsible to do that. And then click Save. Then on Risk and Hazards, if that particular action has a specific risk associated with it or hazard, I would click on each hazard that would be associated with it and then click Save. Then the next important area is there's a yellow banner on the top of the Kansas Planner, and File Archives is there. I click on File Archives and choose the category and provide a description of the document. In the middle, it will say Upload Files. So you click on Upload Files. You'll pick ESF3 as your category and list your documents. You can choose up to 4 or upload 4 files at one time into one ESF, and just put the titles in the bar for the description of those. And then click Upload. If you refer back to the 2014 Kansas Planning Standards, each ESF has required attachments. In ESF 3, the damage assessment forms are required. You need to provide a map and a list to identify potential trash collection and temporary storage sites, including final landfill sites for specific waste categories. And I would list each waste category and address how you're going to identify it and where it's going to be. Then you need a list of public works and engineer resources and contacts. Down in the blue, if you use the CRMCS system for your personnel and equipment, I will go and check that. And if you do not have the equipment in there, I will suggest that either A, you put it in the CRMCS system, or you provide a Excel spreadsheet with the equipment and its descriptions. And then if the Public Works Department has any service or contract agencies that they work with, you don't have to upload the whole contract. I would do an Excel spreadsheet and list the contractor, a 24-hour phone number for that contractor, and then what type of contract it is. Up until this point, everything that has been listed has to be in your ESF 3 annex for it to be approved. The recommended attachments are sample forms and logs, references appropriate and/or procedures for receiving or notifying certain staff, facilities, and departments. That'd be mainly like your calling trees, and reference established plans and procedures detailing protocols. If you have any SOPs associated with this annex, I would load them into the file archives so they will be there to reference in an emergency in a fast way. Remember, this is your county plan, and add any and all information you think is important. Our emergency operations plans are a foundation for counties to stand on during a time of disaster. And if you, as the emergency manager, cannot be there, or you're not there at all, this plan should be able to stand up on its own. Someone else should be able to read it and perform the actions required to sustain your county until you can get there. If you have any questions while you're creating your plan or editing it, please call Brad Hahn or Susan McMahon at the information below. We are in the Planning Department of Kansas Division of Emergency Management. Thank you, and I appreciate your time. Again, if you have any questions, please get a hold of us, and have a great day.